Be prepared. The universe isn't playing subtle anymore. Tomorrow, Mars collides with Uranus in one of the most volatile transits of the year. And if you're not ready, it won't ask for permission to rearrange your entire life. Have you felt it building? That strange mix of anxiety and clarity? That urge to burn bridges and start again, even if you don't know what's next? That's not madness. That's Mars meeting Uranus. It's not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough disguised as chaos. This energy doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your comfort zone. It cares about truth, about freedom, about finally pushing you to make the change you keep postponing. And if you don't move with it, it might move for you. This is your cosmic jailbreak. But only if you're brave enough to feel the friction and still move forward. Because when Mars strikes Uranus, the message is simple. What hasn't been shaken will now be shattered. But what rises from the pieces? That's where your real life begins. Why this transit is not like the others. Most people will go to sleep tonight unaware that a cosmic explosion is already unfolding above them. But if you're sensitive, if you've felt the strange electricity in your chest, the sudden restlessness in your body, or the sense that something huge is about to break, then you already know this isn't an ordinary transit. Mars square Uranus is one of the most volatile alignments in astrology. Mars, the planet of drive, action, and conflict, forms a perfect square with Uranus, the planet of disruption, rebellion, and unpredictable awakening. When these two clash, things do not simply shift. They rupture. They erupt. They demand liberation. Have you noticed old structures in your life starting to feel too small? Jobs, relationships, beliefs, identities? Have you been experiencing unexpected outbursts, arguments, tech glitches, or even physical sensations like surges of heat or trembling hands? You're not imagining it. You're feeling the current of cosmic rebellion. This square activates the deeper layers of your nervous system and psyche. It flushes out anything that's stagnant, anything you've clung to out of fear, loyalty, or illusion. This is especially intense for those on a spiritual path, because the more awake you are, the more acutely you'll feel where you're still compromising your truth. And here's the deeper truth. This isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. This alignment is a divine disruptor. It breaks the habits and timelines that are no longer aligned with who you're becoming. It forces change where you've been indecisive. It invites action where you've stayed passive. And if you resist, you may experience breakdowns in communication, emotional explosions, or even physical accidents, not as punishment, but as cosmic redirection. The message of this energy is clear. You can't evolve and stay comfortable at the same time. So if everything feels unstable, good. That's the universe doing deep rewiring. If things are falling apart, good. That's your soul making room. And if you feel like something inside of you is about to burst, let it. It might be the version of you that's finally ready to live free. This Mars-Uranus square doesn't knock politely. It arrives like a flash of lightning across a calm sky. And by the time you realize what's happening, something inside you has already changed. But what makes this alignment even more mysterious is how it sneaks into your system before your conscious mind can label it. It hits fast, but it begins slow, subtle, quiet, unsettling. You might wake up feeling like you don't belong in your own routine. Coffee doesn't taste the same. Your usual rhythm feels off. People you normally tolerate suddenly irritate your spirit. You question your job, your habits, your relationships, not because of a dramatic event, but because something inside whispers, "This isn't it anymore." Have you noticed your body tensing at random moments, like it's bracing for impact? Have old memories surfaced with no trigger at all, leaving you emotionally charged for no reason? These aren't accidents. These are signals. Your system adjusting to cosmic frequencies that demand change. And if you resist them, they'll show up as exhaustion, confusion, even temporary chaos. Here's what this energy can look like in real time. 1. Tech disruptions or sudden malfunctions. Uranus rules electricity, and when it's charged by Mars, devices act strangely. If your phone glitches or power flickers, take it as a reminder. Your system is shifting too. 2. Unexpected emotional outbursts. You might cry without warning, or feel rage bubbling up from nowhere. This isn't losing control. It's energy trying to move through a body that's been holding too much. 3. Sudden truths in relationships. You may finally say what you've been suppressing, or someone may reveal a secret that changes everything. This alignment pulls masks off, and the truth doesn't always come gently. 4. Physical jolts, insomnia, or heart flutters. Mars fuels adrenaline, and Uranus stirs the nerves. If your body feels restless or overactivated, you're not broken. You're being rewired. 5. A sense of urgency without direction. It feels like you need to do something, but you don't know what. This is a spiritual download trying to find its shape. Don't force it. Breathe. Listen. 6. A sudden shift in values or desires. Things you cared about deeply may lose meaning. Goals you chased may now feel hollow. This is alignment catching up to your soul, not failure. 7. A pull toward radical honesty. You may feel unable to lie, pretend, or perform anymore. That's the most sacred part of this portal. It strips away what's false so you can finally be real. And what makes this so intense is not just what happens outside of you, it's how fast your inner compass changes. The things that used to keep you stable may now feel suffocating. The comfort zone you worked so hard to build may now feel like a cage. But this discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your initiation. This square doesn't just break things. It awakens what's been asleep. It cracks the shell so your next version can emerge. So don't panic if everything feels too much. Don't retreat into numbness or self-doubt. The storm you feel is not chaos. It's alignment, disguised as fire. And if you let it move through you, it will lead you straight to your freedom. Before your mind can interpret, before your intuition can translate, before you speak or act, your body already knows. And during a transit like Mars square Uranus, your nervous system becomes the most accurate oracle you have. Why? Because this energy is electrical. Uranus rules sudden insights, lightning strikes, frequency upgrades. Mars charges that energy into motion. When they square, the tension is not just emotional or spiritual, it's somatic. It moves through muscle, breath, heartbeat, reflex. It doesn't ask for permission, it activates. Have you been feeling strangely wired, even when you're tired? Have you noticed a racing heart, restless legs, shallow breathing, even without a clear cause? That's not anxiety. That's alignment trying to reprogram your hardware. The body doesn't lie. It can't. When Uranus energy moves through you, your body becomes a receiver, and sometimes what it receives overwhelms the circuits. Think of it like a computer downloading a massive software update. During the process, it might freeze, flicker, restart. That's you right now. Mars brings heat. Uranus brings electricity. Together, they spike your energy field. That means you may wake up multiple times during the night, as if your soul is trying to speak between dreams. Feel hot flashes or cold sweats, like your body is detoxing something invisible. Experience sudden cravings, sugar, salt, grounding foods, because your system is trying to stabilize. Have random body pains or muscle twitches, especially in the shoulders, back, or forehead. These aren't injuries, they're energetic compression points being released. This isn't just stress. This is your nervous system learning a new frequency. It's like your old self was built for survival, but your emerging self is being built for truth. That's a very different voltage. And the most powerful thing you can do right now is not fight it. Instead of numbing the symptoms, listen to them. Instead of trying to function normally, ask what your body needs. Sometimes it will say rest. Sometimes it will say cry. Sometimes it will say scream or move or write. But it will always say something. And that's where the real answers are. We've been taught to override the body, to push through, suppress, ignore. But this transit demands the opposite. Presence, stillness, respect. Not because your body is weak, but because it's sacred. It's where the downloads land first. So, if you've been feeling hypersensitive, don't medicate the message. If you've been shaking, sweating, zoning out, don't shame the symptoms. These are the signals of transformation in progress. Your body is not malfunctioning. It's just no longer willing to hold on to what your soul has already outgrown. And that, in itself, is a miracle. Right before a breakthrough, things fall apart. Not because something is wrong, but because something can't stay the same. The Mars-Uranus square is not gentle about this. It doesn't give you time to ease into transformation. It arrives like a cosmic siren, pulling away the familiar, tearing open false identities, and exposing what's been waiting to change beneath the surface all along. Have you felt relationships start to shake, projects suddenly collapse, conversations explode out of nowhere? These are not failures, they are fated friction points. Tension that was already there, now impossible to ignore. This is the moment many people misinterpret. When things break, the ego screams, "I must be doing something wrong." But spiritually, the truth is the opposite. You're finally aligned enough to outgrow what was never yours. And sometimes growth sounds like a slammed door. Sometimes it looks like a breakdown. But in the language of the cosmos, that's not the end. It's the beginning. Mars brings action. Uranus brings awakening. So what looks like chaos is actually a soul upgrade in progress. You may find long-standing habits or addictions suddenly lose their grip on you, not by force, but by revelation. Relationships that once held your world together now feel energetically dead, no matter how hard you try. Sudden moves, endings, or shifts arise not from your mind, but from your knowing. Emotional storms trigger deep truths you've kept hidden until now. This is what the Mars-Uranus square does best. It makes the subconscious undeniable. It exposes the gap between who you pretend to be and who you really are. And that exposure can feel like everything is crumbling, because in a way, it is. But only so that the false structures can be removed. What if the fight, the delay, the confusion isn't a block, but a sacred signal that your old frequency no longer fits? What if the universe isn't punishing you, but preparing you for what your next version needs? Breakdowns are not setbacks. They are activations. They collapse the comfort zones that have become spiritual prisons. They strip the noise so the signal can be heard. They end the cycle of control so surrender can begin. So if everything is falling apart, don't rush to fix it. Don't try to glue back the pieces of a life you've already outgrown. Instead, ask, what part of me is being freed by this collapse? That question alone can open a new timeline, because when you stop fearing the breakdown, you start embodying the breakthrough. There's a moment in every spiritual cycle when the masks simply stop working. The carefully curated personality, the nice version of you that avoids conflict, the stories you tell yourself to keep everything comfortable, all of it begins to dissolve. That's what happens during a Mars-Uranus square. And it's not random. It's sacred timing. Because when these planets collide, truth breaks through performance. You might find yourself saying things you never meant to say out loud. You might write messages and delete them, not because they're wrong, but because they're too raw. You might look in the mirror and suddenly see through the disguise you didn't even know you were wearing. That's not a crisis. That's a truth emergence. Uranus rules liberation. Mars rules action. Together, they don't just spark honesty, they ignite the urgency to live it. This means you won't be able to fake relationships anymore. You'll either speak your truth or pull away. You'll feel nauseous in environments where you have to pretend. You'll crave simplicity, not minimalism, but energetic clarity. No more games, no more gray zones. Your body will literally reject lies through tension, illness, anxiety, or exhaustion. Have you ever noticed that the more honest you become, the more peace you feel, even if your life looks messier? That's because peace is not perfection. Peace is alignment. And this transit is forcing a spiritual detox of anything that isn't true, even if it's been working until now. You may cry for what's leaving. You may grieve old versions of yourself. But don't let nostalgia pull you back. That version of you was built to survive a reality you no longer live in. And this version, this raw, real, unfiltered one, is built to thrive in the unknown. So if it feels like you're walking away from people, patterns, or promises you thought would last, it's because your soul is rewriting your contracts. And the most sacred contract you can sign now is the one with your truth. No more sugarcoating your dreams. No more pretending things are fine. No more saying yes when your body screams no. This energy doesn't reward comfort. It rewards authenticity. And the more radically honest you are, the more magnetic your field becomes. Because truth doesn't just liberate you, it attracts what's meant for you. It clears the static. It aligns the signal. And it says to the universe, I'm ready to live what I came here to live. When Mars and Uranus form a square, something strange happens. Time bends. What you thought would take months begins to manifest in days. What seemed distant now knocks on your door. It's not magic, it's alignment in hyperspeed. And this rapid acceleration doesn't happen randomly. It happens because you finally moved out of resistance and into frequency match. If you've felt like life has been dragging for months, with delay after delay, false start after false start, this transit flips the switch. But here's the catch. The shifts don't always look positive at first. In fact, they often come disguised as detours, breakups, sudden relocations, spontaneous decisions that don't make sense to the rational mind. But when you zoom out, you'll see the truth. These aren't detours, they're direct routes. Have you noticed synchronicities ramping up in the last 48 hours? Numbers repeating, people from the past resurfacing, a strange urge to reach out, apply, book, or change something? These nudges are not coincidence. They are timeline markers, clues that your future self is pulling you forward. Mars brings energy, initiation, momentum. Uranus brings higher intelligence, intuition, disruption. When they activate together, the universe stops whispering. It starts moving furniture in your life. And you have two choices: resist the rearrangement or move with it. Some things you thought were solid may now collapse. Some plans you held tightly may now dissolve. But instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What am I now free to do that I couldn't before?" Because that's the real portal here. Not just change, but permission. Permission to act on your knowing, to stop waiting, to break the pattern of postponement and step fully into what's already waiting for you. This is why so many people feel restless right now, anxious, electrified, because the soul knows the old timeline is gone, and every moment you spend trying to hold it together is a moment you could be building what's next. This doesn't mean you rush. It means you trust. You trust the shift, the loss, the strange phone call. You trust the invitation that arrives at the perfect hour. You trust the version of you that wakes up one day and says, "I'm done pretending." Because in this accelerated energy, authenticity is velocity. The more aligned you are, the faster things come. And when your internal frequency finally matches your soul path, time itself rearranges to support you. So don't fear the speed. You're not out of control. You're in divine motion.